Testing 1, 2. Yes. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Testing.
Okay. Is my mic okay? Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of the University of Guam Board of Regents. I am Leslie Leon Guerrero, chairperson of the board, and I will be presiding over today's meeting. Today is December 12th, 2024. We appreciate your attendance. This meeting is being conducted in accordance with Guam's open government law and is open to the public. It is also being live streamed on UOG's YouTube channel at youtube.com/UOG Tritons. The agenda for today's meeting has been posted in accordance with the open government law. We ask that all attendees observe decorum during the meeting. Please be respectful in your comments and refrain from any disruptions. If there are any disruptions, you may be asked to leave. This includes online participants. Please also mute your microphones unless called upon to speak and refrain from any inappropriate or disruptive behavior. Please be aware that this meeting is being recorded and live streamed. By attending this in person or virtually, you are consenting to being recorded. This concludes any remarks.
I'm joining the meeting
during
virtually.
presentation. What was that? Oh, yay. Great. Welcome, Roland. I will now call this meeting to order at 5:35 p.m. First up on the agenda, item number 2.0, meeting minutes. I think everyone is given a copy of the regular meeting minutes of September 26, 2024. I'll just give you guys a minute to go over those. I think we got a copy of this beforehand too. So can I get a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of September 26, 2024?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Regent Mike Naholwa makes the motion, please.
Thank you, Regent Mike. Can I get a second?
Regent Duenas, second.
Thank you, Regent Duenas. Items for discussion? Any changes? No, hearing none. Okay, all those in favor of approving the regular meeting minutes from September 26, 2024, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, on to item 3.0, chairperson's remarks. Good afternoon, Regents, President Enriquez, faculty, staff, students, our SGA officers, and everyone who has joined us both here tonight and remotely via Zoom. As we begin our meeting today, on behalf of the entire Board of Regents, I want to first start by expressing our heartfelt appreciation to Regent Sandra McKeever for her leadership as chair of the board and for her service to our university for the past 6 years. We also want to thank Regent Roland Certeza, who will be departing our board effective December 31st at the end of the year, who is also joining us remotely via Zoom. Thank you, Ro, for being here. We weren't going to let you go unless you actually showed up to at least one more meeting. So I guess your resignation is officially accepted. Working alongside you both has been a colorful adventure, but most of all, an absolute pleasure. We are so very grateful for all the time and effort invested by you personally to advance the mission and vision of the University of Guam. And we look forward to the many ways you will continue to give back to UOG and our community in the future. As Regent McKeever's term comes to a close, as well as Regent Certeza, we look forward to the confirmation of our newest regent early next year, and we are excited to formally welcome all the newly elected senators and the leadership of the 38th Guam legislature to campus so we can continue to advocate for their support and partnership. A lot has happened here in the past 2.5 months since we last met, and I would like to highlight some of the great things that have been happening. I'd also like to offer our thanks and appreciation for all the hard work and continued commitment to excellence by those who contributed to making these things happen. And many of you are here today. First off, and this is just for Jonas so that he knows we actually read all those press releases that he sends us. I'm just pulling off a list of things that I went through my inbox and I reread. And then also thanks to Kayleen for highlighting some of the other events. So this is not an exhaustive list, just a couple of highlights that we want to mention tonight. The Triton's Call, UOG's student-led news publication, was awarded a $50,000 grant by Press Forward to enhance student-led coverage of critical issues on Guam. This recognition not only provides additional resources for our students, but allows us to amplify the importance and power of student voices in our community. UOG Society of Emeritus Professors awarded $1,000 scholarships to 6 students for the upcoming 2024-2025 academic year. This investment in our students underscores the generosity and continued engagement of our emeritus professors, and we thank them. Our CUOG celebrated 0 to 100 million, successfully managing over 100 million in research grant funds since its inception in 2014. Starting with just 2 employees, our CUOG has grown to 249 employees managing 171 projects and more than 100 million in grants. I want to especially recognize our CUOG's Executive Director, Kathleen Moore-Lin, who will be retiring at the end of the year after 22 years of service to UOG. We thank her for all the work she has done that has contributed to the significant growth and success of our CUOG and the university as well. I didn't see her here tonight. Yeah, okay. UOG also hosted the 14th UOG Math Day, and that attracted over 70 middle and high school students and their teachers to campus. UOG's Bachelor of Social Work program was reaffirmed for accreditation through 2031 by the Commission of Accreditation of the National Council on Social Work Education. This program has already graduated over 400 students and currently has 17 social work students in internships at Child Protective Services, Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center, Guam Memorial Hospital, and other local agencies, already making significant contributions to our community. We also thank the Criminal Justice Capstone class who hosted a public forum on Guam's war on drugs, which continues to plague our society and our families, and we thank them for really diving into that and bringing our stakeholders to the table. These are just a few of the many, many accomplishments that have taken place both here and abroad, showcasing the amazing talent and relentless contributions by all of you. On behalf of the entire board, we congratulate you and continue to be proud to be part of the great work being built here. Lastly, I want to extend a huge congratulations to the 200+ Tritons who will walk across the stage during this weekend's 2024 commencement ceremony. You are the heart of UOG and our vision in real life. Your hard work, resilience, and determination throughout the years inspire us all, and we are confident you will carry forward the Triton spirit to create positive change in our world. Si Dios Masi, and thank you. And that concludes my remarks. I also asked for forgiveness. This is my first meeting, so if I forget something, we have to do it again. I'm sorry in advance. I'll be better the second meeting. Moving on to item number 4.0, our president's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and congratulations to our new board officers with Chair Leon Guerrero, as well as Treasurer Nahalawa and Vice Chairman Diaz, who is not here with us. But I also want to extend a very heartfelt Sindekulinis Masi. Thank you very much to past chairwoman Sandra McKeever, who has really been just a measure of calm and professionalism and care for this institution. You will be greatly missed on our Board of Regents, but she will not be far. And so we're very grateful for that. I just wanted to point to an 8-page president's report in 8-point font. So you can imagine 8 pages in 8-point font of just the incredible amount of contributions that our university, Triton Familia, has made, including the accolades of our students and their participation in just these wonderful experiences, whether it be presenting at off-island conferences or being able to attend training or being able to represent us in some capacity through awards that they've been recognized with. I also want to acknowledge the faculty who have been extremely instrumental in working very closely with our students and to ensure that our students are receiving the type of high quality instruction and experiences that they can possibly gain. And the fact that we receive favorable feedback from our community at large speaks volumes as to the quality education that our students have been receiving within their respective programs, not to mention the exposure to research experiences as well that have built their capacity overall. I also want to speak to how the University of Guam has grown with regard to its enrollment. We've exceeded the 3,000 mark. That's where we were pre-COVID levels. And I also am very pleased to announce that as of fall 2023, that we've actually improved our degree completion rate to 40%. Back in 2013, that number was 23%. And we attribute that to the tremendous care that our faculty have made in working with our students to keep them persisting towards their degree. And so I want to congratulate everyone in that regard. Our quality is measured by national recognition and also professional accreditation recognition. I just want to point out that the university has been named a top university in U.S. News and World Report rankings. So I want to acknowledge Jonas Macapiglek for being very instrumental in helping to showcase the university and its contributions in supporting our students and in terms of just sharing with the rest of the universe the amazing things we've done. For example, number 56 in Regional Universities West, number 28 in top public schools, 32 in best Valley schools, 29 in best colleges for veterans, and 46 in top performers on social mobility. Social mobility has to do with the opportunity to advance socially and even economically as a result of your or one's degree. College affordability, we want to thank and acknowledge our partners of the University of Guam Endowment Foundation, Director Katrina Paris and members of the board who've been working very diligently in terms of raising additional funds to provide scholarships. And if you notice in the President's report, we acknowledge those such as the Camacho Foundation, share right here, and others who've been very supportive to this regard. And we're very excited about the ongoing partnership and the continuation of receiving funding to support our students. The success of our alumni, many of whom are represented here in this room on the board, as well as throughout all the different professions. And as we showcase and share with our community at large, there's a lot of pride, and ultimately we hope to bring them back in and engage them even further. I want to also thank the faculty for helping us to get 211 graduates to the finish line for the Fanusanan 2024. commencement. And of course, we look forward to receiving the students on stage and congratulating them in person. The weekly featured articles on the Guam PDN, I want to acknowledge the marketing communications team and of course their director for working closely with my office in order to ensure that the content that we present showcases the value that the university delivers with regard to public service. And also, great news, the Guam Daily Post, we will be finalizing the arrangement, but we will have regular weekly features on health and well-being. And so we're excited because it will engage the Margaret Perry Satori Uchima School of Health, as well as the College of Natural and Applied Sciences. So more to follow, and I'm looking forward to a lot of amazing initiatives that will unfold throughout 2025. The University of Guam is on this voyage, and of course, it's a huge canoe at that, with a lot of diverse types of offerings, a lot of diverse initiatives going on, and it's hard to keep up. But we are very grateful to our students, the student organizations, SGA, and how very active they are in social media. It helps us keep us aware of everything that is going on. So Sijus Masi to everyone for a very successful semester, and I want to wish everyone blessings in this holiday season and into the new year. Thank you.
Thank you, President Enriquez. We'll move on now to item 5.0 on the agenda, reports from standing committees. First up, Student Affairs, Scholarship, Alumni Relations, and Honorary Degree Programs.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. The regular meeting of the Student Affairs Scholarship, Alumni Relations, and Honorary Degree Committee met on November 19 at 1:05 p.m. in the President's Conference Room. Notices were posted and a quorum was present. 3 resolutions were presented. The first is resolution number 2426 relative to approving the Whanachanan 2024 commencement graduate listing. Regent Malilai moves to approve this resolution.
Thank you, Regent Malila. Can I get a second? Regent McKeever, second. Thank you. Discussion?
Okay, discussion. If you all take a look at the graduation data submitted by the Admissions and Records Office, you will see that there has been, an increase from 206 that was written down to 211 students who are graduating. There is an increase in the master's degree graduates. However, it was noted that there was a 30% drop in the bachelor's degree graduates compared to December 2023. This was noted by Dr. Enriquez, and according to Dr. Enriquez, the EMSS and the Dean's Council will meet to evaluate this data and see if they can come up with an action plan. And that concludes my report.
Any questions? No, if not, we'll go ahead and call this motion to, for a vote. So all those in favor of approving the Whanachanan 2024 commencement graduate listing, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
The second resolution is resolution number 24-27 relative to approving the proposed adjustment of certain student fees effective Whanachanan semester 2025. Regent Malilai moves to approve this resolution.
Thank you, Regent Malila. Can I get a second?
Regent Chun seconds.
Thank you, Regent Chun. Further discussion?
Okay, under discussion, a public hearing was held on November 12, 2024 at 2 p.m. at the RFK Library to solicit input from the community. Notice of the hearing was published in the Guam Daily Post 10 days prior. Approximately 7 people spoke, and they ranged from students, just regular students, and also the SGA officers, to the deans of engineering and School of Health. The proposal, if you've noticed on, let's see, the proposed fees were 51.3. You have the attachment of the summary of fees as well as the proposal of the adjustment of the student fees and program fees. I don't have to read that all out to you. But it's a tier approach. It's for the upcoming 3 academic years. You can take a look at the increases. We didn't ignore the students there was a brief discussion on what can the students do to offset these costs. There were several suggestions. One was one was educating these students on available scholarships, and there has been an increase in the Pell Grant total awards for those who are eligible. The use of the Triton Advisor Center. They had also noted there has been a decrease from 127 to 120 credits to graduate from the University of Guam. Also, we are trying to improve the UOG website and basically have a marketing campaign to educate these students on availability of funds and what the other resources are available to them. And then, of course, that would coincide with the enrollment trends and the college affordability issues that were brought up. Go ahead, Dr. Enriquez.
Madam Chair, so just to add on to that, we recognize that there is a nursing scholarship that's part of the current locally funded student financial assistance program funds, to which we will try to have this particular fee covered for the nursing program. For the engineering program, we do know that there is a source of funding, so we will try to work with that so that the students don't feel the burden of these program fees. We recognize that the socioeconomic status within the current island's population is still relatively challenged. We are very mindful of that. We are also mindful of the fact that there are significant program-related costs for both these 2 professional programs, to which there is a licensure association. So engineering and nursing are not cheap programs, but they were the most affordable programs you're going to find compared to many of our stateside counterparts. So the deans and their program faculty have vetted this proposal very carefully, and there's still a need to be able to have these particular costs funded. And so we are very mindful of what is needed in order to defray the burden to the students. And I know that there's, of course, a lot of concerns among both majors, and we certainly want to work in concert with our financial aid office as well as the UOG Endowment Foundation to make sure that these fees are covered. I know there's a lot of anxiety. Nobody ever wants to raise anything, but the cost of goods and services, the cost of inflation, these cannot be ignored. So we present these forward to the board. Thank you.
It was also noted by the team that they emphasized quite a bit that the president has delegated the authority to defer the adjustment of fees or the timing or the application of the School of Engineering and School of Health program fees. So that was also noted quite a bit during our meeting. And that concludes my report.
Any other comments, questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the proposed adjustment of certain student fees effective Fanuchan 2025, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Hearing one nay, majority, motion carries.
The third resolution is resolution number 24-28, relative to approving the repealing and replacement of Board of Regents resolution number 05-31, relative to the Marine Lab Graduate Scholarship Program. Regent Malilai moves to approve this resolution.
Thank you, Regent Malilai. Can I get a second?
Regent Chun seconds.
Thank you, Regent Chun. Discussion?
Under discussion, it was noted that, there has been criticisms from the legislature. If we are investing our resources in terms of the scholarship, are we investing it for the people of Guam? Are we investing it locally? Are we investing it on the people who are residents of Guam? And because of this, there were some proposed changes to the Marine Lab Graduate Scholarship. One of them would be, if you look at your documents, one would be one of the changes is the residence requirement of 2 years to be eligible for the scholarship. And that would be on number 5. Do you have that?
Yeah.
Do you see that? Okay.
Yes.
And the other change would be a service repayment for the recipients on number 6.
It actually, on number 5, it says 1 year.
Oh, it says 1 year.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was 2 years.
1 year prior.
Okay, I stand corrected, 1 year.
Okay.
That concludes my report.
Okay. Any questions from any of the board members on this one? No, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. So all those in favor of approving board resolution relative to repealing and replacement of board resolution number 05-31 relative to the Marine Lab Graduate Scholarship Program, please respond by saying aye. All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. That concludes. Moving on to item 5.2, Academic Personnel and Tenure Committee. I believe that's also Regent Halila is the chair.
Yes, the regular meeting of the Academic Personnel and Tenure Committee met on November 19, 2024 at approximately 2:30 p.m. in the President's Conference Room. Quorum was present, notices were posted. 4 resolutions were presented. The first resolution is resolution number 24-29 relative to awarding Emerita Vice President of the University of Guam to Dr. Judith P. Gutherts. Regent Malay moves to approve this resolution.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Regent Holowa seconds.
Thank you, Regent Nahalawa. Any discussion?
Okay, I'm sure we recognize Dr. Judith Guther's name. She served academically in the community for 30 years, ranging from being a middle school student to the vice president of academic affairs at the university. She was a senator in the Guam legislature, and I thought was an interesting tidbit was that she was a graduate of the Guam Police Academy Reserve Cycle. Isn't that interesting? That made me laugh. Regent Laksamana during our meeting shared a story that she had with Dr. Judith Gutherts, and I asked her if she can share the story with us.
Yes, thank you. So I am currently a student of Dr. Gutherts during the semester, and she is just a brilliant woman and such an advocate for the university. She is very well respected and she's very beloved in our PALS faculty section. And that's genuinely because she's very passionate of what she does and, bringing awareness of, the island and what the university has done for it and so on and so forth. And one of those stories that I shared during the committee meeting was that she was actually the inspiration to go forth and to organize a rally for the 4 million that was lost on, the substitute bill alongside SGA on October 29. And so I'm very pleased to see this on our board book for today. And I'm highly recommending her for this award just because her resume speaks for itself. And she is such propelling advocate for our students as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? If not, we'll go ahead and put this item to a vote. So all those in favor of approving resolution 2429 relative to awarding Emerita Vice President of the University of Guam to Dr. Judith P. Gutherts, please respond by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
The second resolution is resolution number 24-30 relative to amending the university's organizational chart to include the elimination of the Director, University Events Office, and Director, Development, Alumni Affairs, and Foundation Relations, and establishing a Vice President for University Advancement position. Regent Mully moves to approve this resolution.
Thank you, Regent Malilai. Can I get a second?
Regent Holoa seconds the motion.
Thank you, Regent Ahalawa. Further discussion?
Okay, this is one of the first action steps to fulfill the recommendations of the accreditation team that was just here, which was to create and implement an advancement plan to strengthen alumni engagement and philanthropic efforts with the goal of broadening the institution's revenue stream. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth whereas that you see in the resolution 24-30. Also, it was brought to our attention that the university is committed to aligning this structure with the new strategic plan presented by President Enriquez, which emphasized streamlining the operations and collaboration and a stronger focus on comprehensive advancement initiatives.
Thank you. Any questions?
Point of order, Madam Chair. The union president would like to comment on this issue. He's online. He's
Okay.
got his hand raised.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, Dr. Swami, we
Uh,
can hear you.
Okay, great. Thanks. I just wanted to, I guess, express some has to do with the fact that this is going to, even though it consolidates two positions into one, it's going to result probably in a net increase in salary. And this is going to be partly defrayed by reducing the number of staff. So the two positions, which each had one staff person, now there'll be one staff person. So the question becomes, really, will this position be, the person in this position or this office be able to do more than the two previous positions were able to do when it comes to building alumni networks and raising money? So there's a concern that we're spending more money, but it's not necessarily spending more money at a time when faculty positions are being cut, without it being very clear how this is going to improve the performance of this particular function. And there's also a concern that a lot of this function will then end up being pushed onto faculty to do because of the chronic understaffing of this function. I'd just like to put that out there. Thank you.
President Enriquez, did you want to offer any?
Yes,
remarks
thank you.
on
Thank
that?
you, Dr. Swami. Dr. Swami brought up the same concerns during the Academic Personnel and Tenure Committee. And the response to them is that we are bringing the university into the 21st century by eliminating those two administrator lines and to essentially come up with a parallel to the Vice President for Finance and Administration, which really focuses on the operations, monitoring budgets, expenditures, procurement, et cetera, with a revenue enhancement, fundraising, more philanthropic focus for the university that has grown to such a magnitude, and because of the strategic pillar number 4, which will be presented soon with regard to improving the overall financial health of the university. Obviously, this is an area in the, this is a path in the right direction. Dr. Swami speaks about costs. We're speaking about revenue enhancement through very aggressive advancement initiatives, to which there will be performance benchmarks as well as accountability factors with regard to this position. And we hope that ultimately the office will be self-sustaining. And what that means is the initial investment that is going to go in. Mind you, there are 0 employees in that area, 0 employees. There was only 1 employee for many, many, many years. And so there is an intent to add a staff member to that office, but with soft funds, with the assumption, or with the prediction that there will be funds flowing in to make it self-sustaining so that it doesn't create a burden to the university's local budget. And of course, the salary associated with that is really much lower than most faculty salaries at the full professor level. So with regard to being a burden to the university from a strategic thinking and marketing standpoint, this position is going to be able to grow funds for the institution in a manner in which it hasn't seen it. So We're very confident about that. We certainly appreciate the support of the board and the burden that to which Dr. Swami has mentioned with regard to the faculty. Really, it's just having good relationships with their students so that ultimately they become fabulous alumni who continue to stay connected with the university. And so that's not a burden to the faculty, but rather something that a lot of faculty already do. So we just want to bring that to light. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Swami, for voicing your concerns, and thank you for President Enriquez for also adding your remarks. I just want to just further reiterate the board's commitment to being fiscally responsible when we look at things like this. We understand we have a lot of work that we need to do here at the university, and positions like this, we're leaning on the president to build the right team that she needs in order to help her build in and bring in those additional funds outside of what we're getting here locally from the legislature. Many of us here who sit on this board are from the private sector, so we understand performance-based incentives, from performance-based compensation, and we hold these positions to that same level of stature. We want to make sure that when we attract people, we compensate them fairly, because we want good talent, because good talent is what we need to go out there and secure the funds that we need to build a better university. So please trust in the fact that we are constantly, even if we're not directly involved in the recruitment process, trying to recruit indirectly for the university so that we can get the right people in the right seats so that they can go after and bring in some of the much needed dollars and resources. If it's not funds, it's expertise that we need to build the dream here. So thank you for voicing your concerns. I encourage you to continue that, but also continue to trust in the decisions that we're making here, but also keep us in check, please. That's what we're here for. That's what you're here for. And if there's any other recommendations or suggestions, we have always been very open to hearing those. So thank you.
I would just like to mention that Dr. Enriquez has been very active in going out, obtaining funding sources from the alumni in the United States and elsewhere. So I would just like to say there is that would be a good source of funding, a new source that wasn't there and wasn't available. So we do need to build up our alumni database, and we do need to go out and fundraise, and hopefully these former students would think kindly towards the University of Guam and donate happily.
Could I just speak briefly on one point? And that's the maintaining of alumni databases. That is the concern that I have, and it's while it's true that faculty do keep in touch with some students, students scatter all over the country, and it takes continuous administrative work to maintain a database of alumni. Faculty don't have the time for that. Faculty programs don't even have administrative support, unlike many stateside departments. So, and my concern is that, we're not paying enough attention to the need for staff in this kind of operation. So that's just, I'd just like to put that out there, and whenever it is appropriate for people to consider that need, for them to do so. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other further discussion? No? If not, I'm going to put this motion to a vote. So all those in favor of voting to approve the amendment to the university's organizational chart to include the elimination of the Director of University Events Office and Director of Development Alumni Affairs and Foundation Relations, and establishing a Vice President for University Advancement position, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
The third resolution is resolution number 24-31, relative to expressing appreciation to Sandra H. McKeever for her service as a member, treasurer, vice chairperson, and chairperson of the Board of Regents. Regent Malila moves to approve this resolution.
Can I get a second?
Jen Holoa seconds.
Thank you, Regent Nahalawa.
I would like to thank Sandra for her service. I think she, um, personally, I think she had a very good idea when we had the orientation for the Board of Regents. I wish that had happened when I first came on board. But I think it really helped a lot. It enabled us to focus as regents, to understand what was going on within each department or each division. I really enjoyed that orientation. And that's why I always think of Sandra when I think of that. Do you have anything to say in my committees?
Yes, I'll reiterate what I stated on the committee meeting. So I'll keep this nice, short and sweet. So my earliest memory of Miss Regent McKeever was she's just always smiling, always smiling and always laughing. And so when she became the chairperson, I think her positivity, her radiance, and her professionalism really carried on through her leadership, through the board, and especially during our challenging periods in this year. And so we're very grateful for your wisdom and for your service on the board. And we wanted to give this as the recognition for your hard work and dedication to this board. And we're also very sad to see you go, but we wish you well in your endeavors.
Okay, I'd like to add something to Regent McKeever. You know, you spend a lot of personal time trying to make sure that, you know, me as a new board member, you know, you took personal time to make sure that I understood what my role could be. And I truly appreciated your leadership this past year. We're gonna miss you. I can't believe it's over already. This is like 1 year. 1 year ago, I got to meet you. So, but we wish you luck, and I know you'll be supporting us outside of this. So thank you.
I'd like to also make a comment. Don't go far away, okay? Because you'll always be a source for us and for the university. And thank you so much for your help as well. Thank you.
And then I'll just close out by adding, we were discussing before we started the meeting that this has been, we've gone through a lot on this board, but one thing for sure we've learned is that everyone here has a voice, and we've always, and this is something that you've championed throughout your leadership here, is everyone has the opportunity to speak, voice their concerns, whether you agree or don't agree. But at the end of the day, we come together, and that's something that you've helped us achieve throughout the last 6 years, or at least the 5.5 I've been with you. So thank you for that. Thank you for creating a safe space for us, and for just having us always stick to the agenda and keep moving. And okay, guys, we're going to vote. We're never going to leave if we don't just put it to a vote. So thank you for that. And we will definitely miss you.
Thank you. And I just want to say, this is an amazing board. I am so honored to have served here with these amazing regents, and as well as being able to be here with our new president. It's just been so exciting to some excitement I didn't really care for, but this excitement I cared for. And I'm so happy. There's a lot of excitement in this board. And just everyone, the staff, general counsel, I'm so impressed with this organization. And I'm not going far, and I'm gonna continue to support. Thank you so much.
Okay. We'll go ahead and put this to a vote. So all those in favor of approving resolution 24-31 relative to expressing appreciation to Sandra H. McKeever for her service as a member, treasurer, vice chairperson, and chairperson of the Board of Regents, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All
Aye.
opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Okay, the fourth resolution is resolution number 24-32 relative to expressing appreciation to Roland S. Certeza for his service as a member of the Board of Regents. Regent Malila moves to approve this resolution.
Regent Naholua seconds the motion.
Discussion?
In a serious matter, I know the Roland Certeza was what was very important to him was the strategic plan. From the very beginning, he always talked about that. parts of the strategic plan. What can we do to improve University of Guam? So for that, I'd have to admire him tremendously. The second thing that I can say on a personal note, he was the first person to buy a glass of wine for me. And he turned to me and said, "Who do you know?" And that made me laugh because I didn't know anyone. But that's what I told him. But I never asked him, "Who do you know?" But that's Roland. And I appreciate his service and I appreciate his discussion on the strategic plan. And also when we were finding the president of the University of Guam, we had many discussions about that.
Thank you, Regent Malilai. I'd like to thank Regent Certeza for his service on the board. Fun fact, a year ago when I sat next to Roland, he said, "Just wait till we have the 10-year meetings. Those are the meetings you're gonna love." He's like, "I love learning about," he's like, "the work up here is incredible." He's like, "You get to hear about the work, the research, it's gonna blow your mind." And very often, Roland got excited like that and would like to geek out about stuff that was happening at UOG. So I appreciated that the very first meeting. But to add to what Regent Malilai said, since I got here, yeah, Roland has been pushing us to, as a board, to think strategically, act strategically, have those conversations. And this summer, he and I co-chaired the strategic committee, and he was instrumental in helping advise Madam President and the executive team on defining and creating their first strategic management scorecard, which is a huge lift in any organization. So really pushing us to figure out how are we going to measure in a balanced way what is important to UOG so that we can constantly keep our eye on the numbers and recognize very quickly when we need to change strategy or pivot. So he was awesome. And also just constantly going down to the legislature and trying to figure out how do we position ourselves and what is it that we need to share so that they understand what is the work we're doing here, because it's incredibly valuable. So just like Regent McKeever, although Regent Certeza will no longer be on the board, I know he's a proud alum. And I also know he's a committed advocate for the long-term growth and sustainability of UOG. And I know he'll continue to support UOG's mission and vision in our region. So thank you, Regent Certeza.
I'd like to make a mention that when Regent Certeza came on the board, he pulled me aside and he said, "Where's the strategic planning part of this?" And that stuck with me. And I said, he's right. And even though we didn't move on it quickly, but we finally got it. And so we had the ad hoc strategic committee, and he was amazing, part of that member. He put a lot of time in. He put a lot, and this was incredible. And so, I have to thank you, Roland, for challenging us. That was you pushing that. And I was very, very honored to be able to push that committee to formation and just have you guys lead, Joanna, Roland, and Mike. And so this is how we can really be instrumental in moving the university forward. We can't be afraid to think outside the box of what we've been doing, right? And that's goes with a lot of other areas with Leslie and everybody involved. So thank you, Roland. I appreciate you so much.
As the third member of the group, Roland, thanks a lot. First time I ever looked at a strategic plan, but you have this good foresight. You got this vision. And I think that's why the company that you're running right now is advancing as well. And I think that really helped the university. And like I told past Chair McKeever, don't go far away also. Thank you.
May I add, Madam Chair? Thank you, Regent Certeza. Thank you so much, being a part of the strategic committee conversations. And I have to let everyone, I am the first president in the history of the University of Guam being held accountable to performance standards. I'm the first president being held accountable for a balanced scorecard. A balanced scorecard is a corporate term. It is not something you find in higher education or a government entity. So there's a lot of accountability around everything that I do in concert with my administrators. It is not an easy task. I say I have a lot of bosses. Students are my boss, faculty senate, faculty union, the board members, and it's a very different kind of the senators. It's a very different kind of position. It's not a walk in the park. Other presidents had a lovely term, a lovely term. This is not a lovely term. It is hard work. So when I segue to speak about this new strategic plan, I promised that I would not throw out the baby with the bathwater. There are so many things we already achieved. But what was important is something that I used to teach our capstone students for both the bachelor's and the master's program once upon a time, that when we diversify and we start to fall apart, we need to consolidate and stick to the knitting to what made the university great. And so with the 4 pillars, and I want to thank Rollins, because Rollins' question was always, what is she going to do about the finances? And so, Roland, back in 2013, I invited you to be a guest speaker along with your competitor to speak to my marketing students. That was a basic marketing course. And so after you both presented, I asked the students after you both left, who made a greater pitch? And you won that contest. But what was the true measure was that I needed a new cell phone. And so I asked both, could you help me? I need a new phone. I have a BlackBerry. I need to switch out. And so whereas your competitor gave me a phone number to call, and that person was trying to sell me this plan and told me that I would have to pay X amount for a new instrument, what you did was have somebody call me to ask, what color do you want? And we were waiving the fee, okay? We're waiving the cost of the instrument. And so that sold me. So great salesman, great salesman, and careful attention now, currently in your CEO role, which speaks volumes with regard to the success of your organization, was forcing us to hold us accountable, hold me accountable. So to all the stakeholders, it has become a heavier role because of the accountability factors. And so we ask for patience. We ask for patience. A university is not your typical entity. All eyes are upon us, holding us accountable every single step of the way. It is a huge role. It is a huge role. And there's not daily joy. There are celebrations, but there's not daily joy. But I promise to take the university out of its financial hardships, and that's my commitment in my role. Okay, so I ask for everybody's patience, and I thank the board for your confidence in allowing me to serve in my final position with the University of Guam. Thank you very much.
Roland, did you want to say anything? Aye. So then we don't have to give him this, then we're not going to vote on this item then. You know what? I'm just going to have to tell him he's going to have to look this up and rewatch it. And we almost gave him passed a resolution, but because he didn't attend his last meeting, we're not going to vote for it. No, but in all honesty, I'll just put it out there for the record. I echo all the sentiments. He was a champion of the strategic plan. I know where he comes from. He comes from corporate. But also, if you look at the caliber of people who want to come and serve on this board to give back, he is an alumni here, very proud of everything that and the foundation UOG has given him. He worked his way up through GTA and to become one of the first local CEOs, which was very important for that company, and to have them choose the sales guy. And I think that's because of the vision that he has and the attention to detail, the attention to the numbers, the attention to the finances that we're going to make that company and propel them to be and grow as much as they have locally. I think speaks to his passion. He's not here, so I can tell you this. He promised me, and I'll tell you guys all, his promise to me was that he is still going to support us. He just can't support anymore in this capacity right now because of some of the things he has going on, which I respect. But definitely it's a resource we have available to us to lean on when we need it. So let that be known to everybody. Cat Endowment, hit him up twice because we no longer have the service part, so he has to write a bigger check. So yeah. Okay,
Good
so
one.
we can put this item to a vote. So all those in favor of approving resolution 24-32 relative to expressing appreciation to Roland S. Surteza for his service as a member of the Board of Regents, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay. That
Okay,
concludes yours, right?
We have 5.2.6, which is the endorsement of the new university strategic plan to Lasmona navigating 2024 to 2029. I move to endorse the new university strategic plan.
Regent Naholo seconds the motion.
Okay. Any further discussion? I think President Enriquez is gonna.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Chair, and thank you, Chairman Lilite, for allowing me to speak. At the previous board meeting, I made a formal presentation of the particulars of the Toulouse Mona Strategic Plan 2024 to 2029. And as a result of the sage advice from the board's strategic planning committee, we were able to arrive at four major pillars that will keep us focused, sort of a roadmap with regard to what's really important, the key results, which would speak to how we're able to achieve the overarching strategic pillar and the corresponding action items. The vision of the university has not changed, transforming lives and advancing communities. Speak to what we do to support our students, our graduates, as well as our communities at large. Our mission hasn't changed with regard to ENA Discovery SETB, uniting UOG with regard to island wisdom, with universal sources of enlightenment and support exceptional education, discovery and service, etc. Shared values, those haven't changed as well. But what has changed and what we have not forgotten, right, is that we have four strategic pillars, but being mindful that the University of Guam, from the prior Parahula strategic plan, pillar number one had to do with being recognized as a research university centered in island wisdom. We arrived. Pillar two was leading as a partnership university. We arrived. For both pillars, we haven't forgotten, we're still focused. For the others relate to infrastructure, finances, etc. Those are still outstanding matters to which we wanted to fold into the four pillars. The first one, ensure every student receives a guided voyage to their destination. The way in which we know that we are achieving and staying the course is to focus on increasing first to second year student retention rates, because we know that it is proven that if we can keep students from the time they enter our doors to basically persist to the second year, then there's a higher possibility of completing their degree because of that. Increasing our 4-year as well as our 6-year graduation rates, because at the end of the day, that's basically spells the success of how well we're doing to make sure that students cross the finish line. And also we are part of the measure of the National Survey of Student Engagement. That is the student satisfaction rate. Students complete that survey. That keeps us on check with regard to making sure that the students receive quality experiences, quality services. And fourthly, increase student satisfaction rates for courses that gives students an opportunity towards the end of the semester to evaluate their professors and to give us feedback with regard to what else we can do to make it better with regard to their experiences and the curriculum. There are 5 strategic actions that coincide with those. Those were covered last time. The second pillar, here's where we really focus on our threefold mission. We say we're going to position UOG as a trusted source for quality programs, research, service, and extension. There are 4 key results, which include 1, quality and rigor of academic programs, meaning we maintain and acquire accreditation at the institutional as well as professional program levels. Examples of those: social work accreditation, nursing, education, business administration, among others. Secondly, professional credentialing, allowing our students to be able to have pathways towards demonstrating success, which includes passing the NCLEX exam for nursing, passing praxis for education, among others. Thirdly, grants, contracts, and research growth, maintain and pursue national designations, awards, etc., for our research units. Centers for Excellence and Program Services, we've been demonstrating and we continue to focus on that. Number 4, service/extension, land grant, and sea grant community impact. That is to achieve Carnegie's community engagement classification, another national indicator of quality, at least within the service extension level. We have 4 strategic actions that will help us achieve those results, and they are measurable. The third strategic pillar, enrich the employee experience through Inadahi Zinanat Fle'i. Inadahi Zinanat Fle'i is part of our diversity, equity, and inclusion values that are included as university policy. We recognize that without our employees, and employees include everybody, staff, faculty, administrators, without them, we can't function well as an institution. So key results, number 1, employee retention with regard to positive working condition. Secondly, adequate resources are available for professional development and training. 4 strategic actions coinciding with that. And finally, we didn't make this the first one, but we know it's equally important. Strategic pillar 4, optimize UOG's financial health and sustainable growth. There are 6 key results. 1, increase the number of enrolled students using semester benchmarks. Secondly, increase enrollment in subcategories such as graduate, international, non-resident, by program, school, college, and credit out production. Thirdly, increase net tuition revenue. 4th, advance donor and alumni giving. 5th, ensure sustainability and profitability of auxiliary units. And finally, 6th, optimize cost efficiency metrics, consider cost savings for utility expenditures, streamline processes, etc. And there are 6 strategic actions coinciding with these particular key results under strategic pillar 4. So, Madam Chair and members of the board, I present to you, this was a culmination of many discussions that had taken place since September of last year, including gathering input from members of our professional and NGO communities, taking it back, providing surveys, collecting input from our stakeholders internally as well, and taking a 25 or 26 document to our strategic planning committee of the board, and somehow making it more succinct and having it coincide so it's ready for a strategic balance scorecard, so that the president ultimately will be held accountable for achieving these particular key results in concert with other members of my team. Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, the president of the union would like to comment.
Thank you. So I have a couple of things to say. I had an extensive exchange with President Enriquez and others about this during the AP&T, and then afterwards with the Senate president and some other people. And I did get enlightened to some extent by that conversation, but I have a couple of comments, and one of them is a clarification comment, or maybe even query, which is it's not clear to me if this is a strategic plan for the president. That's what it reads like, for the president to be held accountable by the board for certain performance indicators, which is one thing, or if it's also a strategic plan that is supposed to guide the efforts and activities of the rest of the university, in particular, in my case, the academic community, in which case the plan is extremely vague when it comes to what actually we are supposed to be doing. And to that extent, I would draw your attention to strategic pillar 2, where the goals, the key results, all have to do with things, outputs that that are expected of faculty. The strategic actions really don't have anything to do with supporting faculty or in any way. They really have to do mostly to do with communicating what faculty do. So there's a mismatch to me between the results and the actions. Is the idea that we need to communicate better what we're already doing to the larger stakeholder community, and that's the president's job? Fine. That means that has nothing to do with faculty as such. Is the idea that we're supposed to be doing things to promote, to better achieve those key results? And if that's the idea, then the strategic actions don't match that. And I ask that because for two reasons. One is that, the this strategic plan has been used as a guide for faculty to develop academic master plans for their programs, but there's nothing in this for academic master plans to really easily align to. And I ask it for a second reason, which is procedural, which is that if this plan is intended to guide and shape the content of programs and the work conditions of faculty, then it needs to have gone through a more formal review through the respective faculty bodies, which is the Senate and the union. Anything that affects work conditions of faculty needs to come to the union board for review. And that has not been done. So I'd like first and foremost clarification on who this plan is for and how it is expected to be translated into directives for objectives for faculty.
Thank you, Dr. Swami. So all the deans and directors have been advised to work in concert with their faculty. And that has been done months and months and months ago. I hope that Dr. Swami's college has been able to have that exercise of their retreat to more fully engage with each other about the development of their respective academic master plan. To my understanding, the Senior Vice President and Provost has been meeting with each of the academic deans and academic schools and college deans to work very closely with regard to the alignment of the institutional strategic plan with their own respective, more customized academic master plan. This is not an academic master plan. It serves as a roadmap for what is really important. Through the guidance of the Strategic Planning Committee of the board, we were able to arrive at these 4 critical strategic pillars to represent what is truly important to ensure that the University of Guam is not only made whole, but is able to navigate through the expected growth and sustainability. And so this overarching strategic plan is truly that. It's strategic in nature. It is not intended to go deeper into the respective responsibilities of what an academic master plan. So the academic master plan rests and belongs with the programs, particularly the faculty. We do not dictate what happens at that particular level, but as a former dean of a business school, business and public administration school, and other members of the faculty could attest that we would hold strategic retreats to discuss what would go into a respective academic master plan. And so the input belongs to the faculty because at the end of the day, they help to drive the respective goals related to their respective academic master plan. So I believe that there has been a lot of discussion already taking place, at least at the strategic planning level. I don't, if the board wants us to toss it all out and start all over, let me know. But at the same time, I feel that already a year has passed and we would love to be able to move forward with these major strategic initiatives that are critical to safeguarding the health of this institution.
I would just like to say something. I know we've talked about this in our meeting, our committee meeting. You had brought up this concern already, and we had decided that we need to move on with the strategic plan and to endorse it or not endorse it. And so that was why we moved this to the Board of Regents Committee as a whole. I don't think the working conditions of the faculty is the platform for the strategic plan. I think for the working conditions, you need to bring it down to another level and talk about that. And if it comes up to the Board of Regents level, then we can discuss that. But you need to go through the proper review processes for your working conditions. I don't think it has a place in the discussion of the strategic plan.
And I would just like to add, we encourage you guys to continue to have conversations. As with any strategic plan, it is a living, breathing document that can be changed or amended depending on what happens. Things are fluid in our community. They're fluid here at the university. We have different financial challenges or restraints that may pause or accelerate some of these things, but continue that open dialogue amongst the deans, amongst the faculty, amongst the staff, with the president, so we can make sure that, we constantly get that pulse check. Are we moving in the right direction? Or are we completely off? Because I think when we were getting updates on how the committee meeting went, it's like, did we miss something? Are we totally off? And it does not sound like that based off of the feedback and the participation that we've gotten thus far. And which is why we're finally at a point where we're ready to present this for the board to get the full endorsement so that we can continue to move forward.
And thank you, Madam Chair. That was also brought up in our committee meeting, that this is a living, always changing type plan. It's not set in stone.
So with that, we would like to put this for a motion for endorsement. So all those in favor of endorsing the new university strategic plan, Tulis Mona, navigating 2024 through 2029, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you, Regent Malila. I believe you will also be reporting on the Physical Facilities Committee for Vice Chairman Diaz.
Yes, Regent Diaz asked me to read his report. The Physical Facilities Committee met on November 19, 2024 at 4 p.m. at the President's Conference Room with a quorum present. The appropriate announcements for the meeting were made. The committee had no resolutions up for review. However, there was a substantial committee update. First would be the capital projects. Under the USDA projects, the Student Services Center construction is 44% complete and expected to be complete in June 2025. The cost increased by $12,000 to fund survey costs. Under the School of Engineering, construction is 56% complete and expected to be complete in May 2025. Cost increased by $76,000 for building modifications. There were some additional change orders, but are in the process of being negotiated. Under the US EDA projects, which is the Water Environmental Research Institute, WERI, notable changes were construction is 20% complete and expected to be completed in November 2025. The cost increased by $141,000 for underground power connection, and that's it. School of Health, notable changes and updates. Construction is 14% complete and expected to be complete in November 2025. There is a memorandum of understanding for the biohazard lab signed to allow the lab to connect to YOG's fire suppression system only, and it will include a nominal lease. There is a memorandum of understanding also in place for the School of Health and lab for research purposes, and this could also be leveraged for other departments, which would include biology and chemistry. Under preventive maintenance, all the ACs are in preventive maintenance and not deferred. Recent AC replacements were completed at the School of Health, School of Business and Public Administration, and MARC. Generators, there has been a delay with installment of the 600 kW generator due to communication between the generator and the pump houses ATS. And I can't remember what ATS stands for. I'm so sorry. Yeah, right? Automatic system, yeah. So the FMS is pushing the contractor to get the system to work and provide new equipment that will work. The FEMA shortlisted and prioritized the funding for generators for YOG, which is limited to critical facilities areas and include two 300 kW generators for the field house and three 200 kW generators for each of the 3 dorms. Under campus lighting, plan to install 16 new solar lights at overflow parking lots located on the east of the ALS building and entrance of the field house overflow parking. Under campus water system, we'll be using JMI to install 30 horsepower pump, which will be installed in the next few months. This will allow YOG to meet the firefighting flow requirement of 1,500 gallons per minute. Under personnel, Director Glenn Leon Guerrero left YOG on December 6th. John Leon Guerrero will be the interim director. So we are thanking Glenn Leon Guerrero for all his contributions to making significant progress with YOG's Facilities Maintenance and Services Department, shepherding YOG's current capital improvement projects, recovering from typhoons, and making strides in facility maintenance and improvements. It was noted that Glenn and the FMS department were recognized and commended by the YOG Student Government Association on October 31st, 2024. FMS is also looking to add additional 4 personnel with a new building to be coming in 2025. Under IT infrastructure, Vince Dela Cruz briefed the committee on improving communications, which is the voice over internet protocol. The scope of work is ready for the voice internet protocol solution, and we are just awaiting the necessary funding. We anticipate to generate $250,000 in savings. Under modernizing the campus enterprise applications, based on recent requests for information, would be expensive to change to a new solution. We recommend moving over to at least software as a service and upgrade to the cloud and stay with the current platform. We're also currently evaluating bids for YOG's new website and looking to launch a new application that would streamline YOG's travel expenses. That is the end of the report.
Thank you, Regent Malilai. Moving on to item 5.4, Investment Committee. Dueñas?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Investment Committee met on Thursday, November 14th at 1:30 p.m. A quorum was present. The committee received reports from YOG's investment managers. As of November 11th, the market value of the portfolio was $30.1 million and remains in line with the university's investment policy statement. This is a quarter-to-date return of 0.54 versus the benchmark of 0.1 at the time. The committee held a working session on October 29th, 2024 to brief new committee members on the details of the portfolio along with an overview of the investment policy statement. The committee was also briefed on the conservatively managed portfolio with an ending market value of $4.8 million as of November 13th. This is a quarter-to-date return of minus 1.45 versus the benchmark of minus 1.17. Raymond James anticipates that the U.S. GDP is expected to increase by 2% and federal Fed funds be cut one more time before the end of the year. Along with this and the ease of inflation growth has contributed to the market's growth. This concludes my investment committee report. Madam Chair, I'd also like to introduce Resolution
Father,
24-33.
I understand anger and frustration on that.
So yeah, I would like to introduce Resolution 24-33 relative to amending BOR Resolution 20-18 to continue authorizing the president to borrow from restricted funds for the purpose of strengthening fundraising capabilities. Madam Chair, I move that this resolution be adopted by the full Board of Regents.
Thank you. Regent Dueñas, can I get a second?
Yes, Mike Naholoa seconds the motion.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Yes, just briefly, in 2020, Madam Chair, the Board of Regents authorized the president to withdraw up to 250,000 or 5% against the investment portfolio earnings per year for 2 years to enhance the university's fundraising and advancement initiatives. The period has since lapsed and the funds are, roughly half the funds are still remain to be spent. The purpose of this resolution is to allow the president to utilize the remaining funds for an additional 2 years and return any funds withdrawn from the portfolio with a 2% interest rate for each year the funds are spent. And the spending is intended to be in line with the Tula-Moana strategic plan.
You have something to add, Mike? No? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we can put this for a vote. So all those in favor of approving resolution number 24-33 relative to amending board resolution number 20-18 to continue to authorize the president to borrow from restricted funds for the purpose of strengthening fundraiser capabilities, please respond by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Moving on to item 5.5, Budget, Finance, and Audit Committee. Regent Nahalawa, you'll be giving the report.
A quorum was present. Acting Vice President Field and Acting Controller Flores provided the following financial updates. The university received its full appropriation for fiscal year 2024, and thanks to the Department of Administration for providing timely allotment payments throughout the year. While the 100% allotments have been received by fiscal year 2024, the university entered into fiscal year 2025 with an appropriation that is not enough to cover even fixed expenses for the year. The university continues to spend against a rollover budget from fiscal year 2024 review where costs can be reduced, and all the while working with the newly elected legislature to identify funding that can help with the current budget deficit. The financial projections for the year end 2024 are expected to show that revenues and expenditures will break even. With adjustments, there may be a decrease in net position. Current tracking of budget to actual expenditures are also projected to be close to break even. Collections and EFSA have exceeded the target of 200,000, collecting 253,591 as of September 30. Since our last regular board of directors meeting in September, 2 outgoing contracts were reported on and were related to software maintenance costs for the university system and dorm meal plans. This concludes the report for the Budget, Finance, and Audit Committee. I do have 2 resolutions to bring forth to the board. And with that, I'd like to bring resolution 24-34 relative to authorizing to write off certain accounts that have been determined to be uncollectible.
Thank you, Regent Nahalawa. Can I get a second?
Regent Dueñas, second.
Thank you. This resolution pertains to amount of 14,942. These were from various students who have been certified by the admissions and records that the funds are not able to get. Either they were extended because of illness, passing away of people, or military cadet trainings has moved around. So these all the 14,942 is the amount that we want to go and write off. This is the presenting of the resolution.
Thank you. Any questions? If not, I'll call for a vote. So all those in favor of approving authorizing the write-off of certain accounts that have been deemed to be uncollectible, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair Leon. Okay, the next item I'd like to do is resolution number 24-35. This is relative to approving the Guam Culture Repository fee structure.
Can I get a second?
Regent McKeever, second.
Thank you, Regent McKeever. Regent Nahalowit?
Thank you. Okay, the university, the University Department of Chamorro Affairs, Government of Guam, have entered into a memorandum of understanding which authorizes the University of Guam to develop, enact, and implement all necessary fees and administrative costs to be charged to the third parties for the operation of the Guam Culture Repository. The Guam Culture Repository has drafted in consultation a fee structure. The GFR fee structure, service rates, and fees are calculated to cover the costs associated with providing mandated professional cultural services as required by the 5G.C.A, Chapter 87, and the 2011 Programmatic Agreement, which calls for adhering to the federal standards outlined by 35C.5 F.R, Part 79 further. The OCR fee structures fees for services such as image duplication, report copies, collection intake, curation, and other repository services are essential for sustaining the operations of archaeological repositories. These fees support the maintenance and preservation of cultural heritage resources, ensuring their accessibility and long-term conservation. Underfunding could lead to inadequate presentation measures, loss of valuable data, and compromise research integrity. Charging fees mitigate these risks and helps cover costs for insurance, staffing, equipment, storage, and conservation materials necessary for proper curation. A public hearing for the proposed fee structure was published in the Daily Post, and the public hearing did happen for the proposed fee structure, and testimony in favor of approving the GSCR fee schedule was revised, and there was no testimony submitted opposing this fee structure. This is presentation to the board.
Thank you, Regent Nahalowit. Any questions from anyone? If not, we can go ahead and put this motion to a vote. So all those in favor of passing Resolution 2435 relative to approving the Guam Cultural Repository fee structure, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay. That concludes our committee reports. Moving on to item 6.0, ad hoc report, endowment fund update. Floor is yours, Kat.
Hafa Madam Chair Leon Guerrero, and members of the Board of Regents. Thank you all for giving me the opportunity to report. The UOG Endowment Foundation is very honored to be conduits of philanthropy from its donors, and we are grateful for the valuable partnership with UOG personnel in reaching out to these donors. It is their passion for their programs that helps to draw in further interest from the community. Notable donations and/or other payments received since September 24th include $225,000 received from the Guam Board of Accountancy, thanks to a long ago established relationship which began in December 2014 between GBOA, the Dean of SBPA, and the faculty for the accountancy program. I'll be reaching out to you for a little while. $75,000 received from Ms. Lisa Henderson, guest speaker for the upcoming Fenitonin 2024 commencement ceremony. Special thanks to UOG President Dr. Anita Borja Enriquez, Dr. Genevieve Leon Guerrero from SOE, SOE Dean Dr. Alicia Uggan, and Ms. Flo Martinez, UOG Endowment Foundation Board Director. With this donation, Ms. Henderson designates $15,000 to fund the Bernadita Titano Carbolito Scholarship for 2 students for 1 school year effective Fenitonin 2025, $25,000 to benefit immediate program and maintenance needs for School of Education's elementary education, and $35,000 to create the Carbolito Family Endowment Fund for supplemental maintenance support of the UOG School of Education building, and this does fall in line with the new Tulis-Motna strategic plan. $12,000 was also received from Cement and Micronesia for the Manana Scholarship, thanks to, again, UOG President Anita Borja Enriquez for that relationship building. $10,000 was received in sponsorship from the Jones and Guerrero Company for the Tennell concert. Special thanks to our UOG Endowment Foundation Board Director, Ramona Jones. $10,000 was received from Professors Emeriti, Dr. Rebecca Stephenson and Dr. Hiro Kurashina for establishing a new endowed scholarship, Stephenson Kurashina Endowed Scholarship. $10,000 was received from Linda Look for the UOG residence halls. Special thanks to Mr. Mark Mendiola. $9,000 from the Judiciary of Guam in support of the Regional Center for Public Policy, and $7,500 collectively received in sponsorship of the PMBA program, thanks to PMBA cohort 19 and their outreach to the Guam Visitors Bureau, Atkins Kroll, and the Guam Society of CPAs. And $6,586 was collectively received in sponsorship and registration for the Asia Pacific Studies Center's 2024 Guam Agribility Regional Workshop, thanks to Dr. Kwanju Chen and Dr. Liu, and their outreach to Hunhui Guam LLC and Taipei Economic and Cultural Office in Guam. As you interact with these UOG employees and members of these donating organizations, please take the opportunity to thank them for their continued partnership in supporting the University of Guam. As a side note, I wanted to remind everybody that our G is for Giving campaign is currently underway until the end of December. This is our annual outreach to raise funds for student scholarships and is also in support of the new Tulis-Motna strategic plan. We have a special raffle fundraiser, a G is for Giveaway, offering 2 grand prizes of 1 round trip ticket each on United Airlines from Guam or Micronesia to the US. And other prizes include hotel stays, restaurant gift certificates, and a new iPad courtesy of GTA. Thank you, Regent Roland Certeza. Tickets are $25 each, where you can receive 5 chances to win for $100. Tickets can be obtained online at give.uog.edu, or you can swing by our office at house number 10 in Dean's Circle. And lastly, Regent McKeever and Regent Certeza, the UOG Endowment Foundation are thankful for your support during your service on this board, and we look forward to your continued support of UOG's mission through our future endowment fundraising efforts. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Kat. Moving on to item 7.0, open presentation. I know we have a number. Dr. Okay.
Hi, Dr. McNinch, you're up.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. Happy holidays, everyone. My name is Ron McNinch. I'm chair of the Budget Committee at the Faculty Senate, but today I'd just like to say a few words in my capacity as an individual. Thank you, Regent McKeever, for your wonderful service, and also thank you, Regent Rowland. You did a great job on the board. Also, congratulations, Regent Leon Guerrero, on being appointed as chair, and as well as to the other officers. You mentioned Dr. Guthertz. I'm very pleased to see that Dr. Guthertz's emeritus status was approved. He's also a graduate of the FBI Academy and very active in the FBI community, along with President Enriquez, as well as Regent Nahala's wife, Leah Beth. And so it's a very, she has a really neat background. She strongly contributes to everyone. I noticed that you're going to be hiring a development person If possible, don't make that person an academic employee. A development person is one of the last people in the world I'd like to see handle one of my disciplinary cases. Academic employees should have specific academic skills. One other quick thing, a local school I work with, I'm on the school board, was telling me they hired a $25,000 development person. Within 6 months, they raised $400,000. Whoever is hired for development should have skills and actively raise money. And if they don't, that should be a criteria for whether to keep them or not. Really quickly, on April 25th, I raised to the board there was a problem with processing complaints. WAS Standard 1.8 says that complaints should be handled in a timely and fair manner. Section 16102 of the University Charter says that we're supposed to follow WASC standards. I'd like to kindly ask the board to help with the hostile work environment filing or findings that the university made and get the process completed. And also, there was a 2018 settlement agreement that still hasn't been completed, and I'd certainly like the board to help with that and also develop a standardized policy for handling complaints that are made to the board. And there are a number of ways to do that. And I would like to certainly welcome that. And I greatly appreciate all the hard work that the board does. Thank you very much.
Dr. McNitch.
Yes.
Buenas and half a day. My name is Nicole Guerrero. I currently serve as the 63rd Student Government Association president. Thank you for providing me with the time to speak. I just like to take time to express, unfortunately, my disappointment for the passing of resolution number 24-27 regarding the increase in student fees. Unfortunately, as we've had discussions regarding this, this will significantly impact students. Just recently, the Student Government Association hosted our scholarship event in which 46 students applied for a $1,000 scholarship from the Student Government Association. And in reading many of these essays in which students are expressing why it is that they need the scholarship, many of them have conveyed the financial difficulties that pursuing higher education occurs, right? But also with regards to the increase in the fees for the upcoming academic years, a lot of them have expressed grave concerns regarding that because of their ability to continue being able to finance attending the University of Guam. So I am here on behalf of the student body that I represent, expressing my disappointment for the passage of this resolution. But also, we're not naive to the fact that as time goes on, the cost of higher education does need to go up with it. And so, although I am expressing my disappointment for the passing of this resolution, I do want to urge the Board of Regents moving forward to not consider any more increase for the foreseeable future, especially with regards to things like fees or an increase in tuition. But also managing expectations and balancing that with informing students and increasing the capacity of the university to assist students in financing higher education. I think where the university is at is great, but if we're looking to increase fees as time goes on, increase tuition as time goes on, like the cost of living is increasing on Guam, I think that we need to make sure that we are keeping students in mind and we are assisting them in every possible way that we can in order to balance and mitigate the effects that resolutions like these unfortunately bear on our students. Because at the end of the day, the students are bearing the responsibility of the fact that the university is severely underfunded. And that's not on anybody within the university. I have been a great advocate of the university in getting the legislature to fund higher education on this island. And I do understand the need to now unfortunately have to turn to increasing fees and tuition. But again, on behalf of the entire student body, I am expressing my deepest and gravest disappointment in the passing of this resolution during today's meeting. And I would urge you to keep in mind moving forward, ways in which we can help students mitigate these excess costs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nicole. And just before you go, I just want to no. I just want to thank you and applaud you for having the bravery to come up here and tell us you're disappointed. And we feel that. We feel that. But also acknowledging the fact that there is not a lot of choice that we have right now. I look forward to sitting with you guys. I know you guys have been working closely with the president, but I think also the board is very curious in understanding how to make this process better, how to better educate our students on how to fund tuition, how to fund additional fees and services. Because while you're faced with that task here at the university, that's something that everybody faces after graduation when you get your first job. I mean, I think none of us are insensitive to the fact that, you know, there's a rising cost in fees everywhere we turn, whether it be gas, food, power, utilities. That's something that we need to learn to help manage finances, to help mitigate some of those blows that come unexpectedly. But definitely looking forward to having more conversations with you guys to understand how we can improve this moving forward, not just the communications, but the understanding and how to actually finance it. Because I do know that there is a lot of money out there for grabs, but I don't think a lot of people know how to get it and know about it. So it's just raising the awareness of some of the funding that is out there to help you finance and mitigate and offset some of those additional burdens.
Thank you, Nicole, for coming and telling us, you know, being the spokesperson of SGA. I want to thank you for advocating to the legislature. And as you can see, this is the impact, right? So I want to encourage all of you guys, all the students, how important it is to let our public leaders understand the impact of their decisions on this university and essentially down to you guys as students. So continue that. I've been so proud of you guys going down there and saying, we are worth it. We are worth, you know, this education is worth it to us to fund, so that way we can produce leaders, teachers, nurses, you name it. Whoever the leaders are, they come from here, this university. So continue that. And I want to thank you because I've been so proud of you guys going out there and saying, you know what, we're worth it and we need this money. So thank you again and continue your really, really hard work in that because it's going to make an impact and you're going to be heard. Thank you.
As a last point, I just like to thank you all once again for providing us students with the opportunity to address the Board of Regents and share our opinions, even though it may not always be in the same breath as your opinions. We are happy to be able to provide the sense of accountability and express our disappointments, our gratitude for the things that are done by the Board of Regents. So thank you again so much.
Thank you, Nicole. Hello.
It's on now. Okay. Oh, all right. I kind of look a little dirty. We just organized an event downstairs for our student body, and as you know, me just expressing to you guys of the event that's happening, we all understand that there's we have pride in our university and the community, you know, that the Triton community that is. So my name is Kiana Ardiente, and I currently serve as the Vice President of the 63rd Student Government Association. I wanted to thank the board for allowing us to speak. But, you know, as President Guerrero mentioned, I also want to express my disappointment with the passing of the resolution student fees, right? You know, we understand that the cost of running a university comes with its own set of challenges. However, raising fees on students many of whom are already burdened by tuition and living expenses, the rise of inflation. It's probably not the most best solution. And as student leaders, we are deeply concerned about the financial strain these increases will impose on our peers, especially those from lower income backgrounds or those who are already struggling to make ends meet. Like I mentioned in the other hearing, there's three classes, right? We have the top class, and then we have middle class, and then we have the low income class, right? And low income, right? They're covered by FAFSA. They got their education and their tuition covered. With those who fall in the higher class, they got it. They're able to pay for their tuition. But again, my concern is for those who fall in the middle class. They're not eligible to be approved by FAFSA, but they're also not well off. So that forces the middle class to work 2 to 3 jobs just to, pursue higher education. And you touched base a little bit, Madam Chair, about the rally that happened, and it was just so refreshing to see the amount of students that were passionate and in speaking up to our elected leaders. And a lot of them, it took some sort of reason for them to come out there, to drive all the way from UOG down there or wherever they live, right? So it took a reason, a why, I have to say, a why for them to go down there. And that why is the importance of higher education. But so I know I talk too much, but I have some alternative solutions, right? Because we are expressing our disappointment. I also want to provide a solution possibly. We first is just like the transparency. Perhaps if we are going to move forward with raising the student fees. Maybe just being transparent with the students, and then building up, maybe slowly adding more and more and more, just not bottlenecking it. And then one academic year, we're hit with this 300, 400, or however much. And then another one is like maybe identifying areas where the university can cut unnecessary costs, or maybe even, I hate to say it, but even departments. I'm not sure how it works, but if sometimes we have to get to that point. Increasing fundraising efforts from alumni and donors. I know Madam President Anita Borja-Enriquez has been doing an exceptional job with that, in reaching out to our alumni. And then maybe pursuing other grants and more partnerships with external organizations. And I'm not in a blazer today, but I thank you guys so much for giving us the opportunity to come here and take part in the fruitful meeting. Thank you.
I pulled back the resolution because I know I read it. I just wanted to make sure that my eyes weren't deceiving me. But we do this resolution gives the authority to the president to discretion on when the amount and the timing of the fees. So should we find other ways to resolve some of our operational issues, then she has the authority to either slowly implement, speed up implementation, depending on what the demand is of the university. So it's not just, the intention isn't just to hit you with this come next year all at once. We give her the grace and the latitude to do it implement as needed. Yeah. And I know she has your best interest. She understands the need to be able to communicate this ahead of time so that everyone can plan accordingly and mitigate that below to what this is going to do and the impact it's going to have onto the students. And I hear you on middle class. That is not just here with tuition, it is everywhere. We come from financial services background, and one of the things that we are looking to do is how do we address the needs of the middle class that are often left out? They make too much to qualify for government subsidy, and they don't make enough to actually afford anything, to have a decent cost of living. So I mean, what you're experiencing here is a glimpse of what is out there in the bigger world. But if we can fix it here, then maybe we have better ideas on how to fix it after graduation. So keep thinking of those ideas, because if we can make it work for EOG, we can make it work for Guam. And we might have to elect you as senators of not just SGA, but of the Guam legislature.
And I just want to add to that. Like I said, I was very proud of you guys to get out there and rally, but don't just do it during certain times. Continue to do it all year around. Be heard. And I think that is going to be the greatest impact of what you guys can do as students, is to be heard, to let them know the value that this university and you guys as students bring to this island. And so continue the good work, continue to, I would go a little further and start making connections with senators on a regular basis, and let them know that, you know, you want to be heard and that we're worth it. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, one more. If you guys want to go downstairs, there's bento box, and there's popcorn.
Yes, we're hungry. It's a
Yes.
fundraiser, right?
Oh no, not a fundraiser. So SGA, the Student Government Association, our goal is always to serve the student body. So the the bento boxes, they're free for students. We got it from Tokyo Mart. Shout out Tokyo Mart. And then popcorn and drinks. Yeah, and we'll go downstairs together. Okay.
Thank you. Okay. That's it. Are we sure? Last call? Okay. All right, that concludes 7.0. Last up on the agenda is item 8.0. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned at 7:24 p.m. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Christmas.